Give me the argument, the best argument you know, for the power of cinema.
Sup, bro?
What's up, bro?
And welcome everybody to Peliculas with the Bros. My name is Adrian.
My name is Ivan.
Peliculas with the Bros. Ivan, we're here. We're at it again.
Yeah,
It's a new day, new week,
yeah,
and we got a new movie.
yeah.
What movie are we doing today?
Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
What a name.
Indeed.
Peliculas with the Bros. It's a podcast. It's a show of sorts where we discuss movies. We're the smartest dumb guys in the room. We're the dumbest smart guys in the room. Right, Ivan?
Indeed.
So we try to make it simple for you. We try to dissect the movie in a way where...
You idiots will understand.
Because you know what? We're idiots. So we try to do the same for you, you know? It's like how our mama taught us. Do unto others as you would want someone to do to you.
The golden rule.
What a classic rule. So if you're a serial killer, like our boy Cletus Cassidy,
Huh?
you can only expect your head being bitten off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it is, Ivan. Ivan, before we get into this movie, how are you doing?
Another week.
How'd you like the thunderstorms the other day here in San Diego, California?
Refreshing. Scary.
Were you scared?
No.
Okay. You're just saying scary because everyone says it's scary.
It's
Or because mom was saying it was scary.
ominous.
Ominous.
Interesting.
Okay, Ivan. You can stop there.
Okay.
We never see that in San Diego, California. First of all, it hardly rains down here.
Yep.
On top of that, it was a thunderstorm, so you also saw lightning, which you hardly see here.
Yep.
Coupled with the fact that there was over 1,000 lightning strikes reported.
Yep.
As I was driving to train jiu-jitsu, humble brag, there was lightning in the sky, and it was beautiful.
Makes you want. You should have worked out outside or something.
Yeah.
Like.
Now that I think about it, I should have played Thunderstruck by AC/DC. That really would have pumped me up. Instead, I listened to some Meek Mill song, most likely.
I have a rich idea.
All right. We're about to get rich or what?
No. A gym where it's like always raining. So it's like a hot yoga sort of scenario,
Yes.
but like a raining gym. But it would have to be like some body weight or something like that, because obviously it would be a little dangerous.
And rusty.
Yeah. I mean, there's ways around it.
I liked your idea, but I didn't like where it ended up. Let me flip that on you.
Okay.
A gym where it feels it's almost like it has very transparent glass all around, and it
Mhm.
emulates lightning and rain all the time.
But I want the rain, like.
Yeah,
and
okay.
like,
But yeah, that's super dangerous, bro. Come on, you can't be doing that in the rain.
but it'd be fun.
Until someone slips a bar and has their hemorrhaging neck slipping out of their spine.
There's ways around it, I'm sure. Just a waiver sort of thing, like, this is stupid, but you want to look cool sort of thing.
It'd be very costly as well. A lot of water being used in that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a rich idea.
What's the point of this?
Well, what's the point of hot yoga? You could just do yoga.
But the hot part of yoga makes it harder.
Does it, like, actually, or is it, like,
Oh yeah, it does. Because have you done yoga before?
a little bit?
It's very hard if
Yeah,
you do
but-
the more advanced moves. Plus, coupled with the fact that it's 115 degrees in somewhere,
Yeah.
you're sweating extra much. So it's going to
Does that
be...
just burn more calories?
Yeah, but there's a point of exhaustion that happens once you ratchet up the heat levels. It's like when you run in a 70-degree weather, you're going to feel fine. Once you ratchet it up and put it 100-degree weather, that's when it becomes really hard.
But I think it's only hard because like there's sweat dripping out of you and you're like instantly dehydrated.
Yeah, that makes it harder.
Yeah.
The less water you have in your system, the more
But
exhausted
that's
you're going to
not.
be.
Does that make you burn more calories? Does it make it harder?
It does.
Does it make
You feel weaker.
But does that transfer into like stronger?
Mental strength.
Come on.
Yeah. When you put yourself in a situation where you're like, oh man, this is hard, but you put yourself in it regularly, you become like iron and you become strong, and things of that sort will be less hard as you do it more often.
I have fixed my idea then. Ice cold rain. Cold rain.
Okay, keep going.
That's it.
What's the difference?
It's the same concept. You're gonna, if anything, it would make you burn more because you have to really heat yourself up.
It would make you want to burn more.
Yeah,
but it doesn't technically make you burn more. You can actually go and fall into hypothermia,
but not that cold.
Or whatever that word is.
Not that cold, just like constantly cooling you down. Enough where like, ooh, chilly.
This is a dumb idea. I don't know why we spent 5 minutes on it, but I'm glad to shut you down whenever I can. How about this, Ivan? A gym. Where?
Everyone's allowed.
No.
All races, all genders.
A gym with actual metrics on how you're doing, and it gives you stats on a leaderboard. And the people on the bottom...
Game gym.
Yes, and the people at the bottom are sort of like poo-pooed, like, oh, you loser.
But, I don't know.
And that would make fun of all the people that just stand around looking at other people work out.
If it's like Monsters, Inc., where it's like
Yes,
that big billboard, but still, like, there's hundreds and maybe thousands of people who go to the gym.
yes. But it's, since we have accurate measurements of who's at the gym, it's like only the people at the gym are being ranked.
Oh, so like check in, boop, your name pops up.
Yep.
Here it is, number 1,
Yep.
as always.
Yep.
And then like you see your name, boop.
Yeah. And it can
Gym.
give you overall metrics, like overall leader and today's daily metrics, the last hour's daily metric.
Okay.
People are going to be annoyingly working out in there as hard as they can. It'll be almost like a...
It has to be like a competition sort of gym, not like I wouldn't go. You know?
But that's the thing. You have to weed out the weak.
Yeah. But that's a good thing, I'm saying.
Yeah. And then you don't have like those, those weirdos hanging around.
Those weirdos.
You know what's the worst at the gym? I'm sorry, but the old people that just hang around in the sauna.
There's this guy when I go to the gym, like when he's done, he goes to like the big fan and stands in front of it, but he's smelly. So like it wafts like that whole like center gym, like where they do like Zumba and stuff.
Yeah.
Like everything. And then it's like, what the heck, man?
That's actually the worst. The smelly people at the gym. What do you think that is? Lack of smell or lack of empathy?
I think kind of empathy, but also like at a point you just don't care. But I think you should always care. You should always care about others.
Okay, Mom.
But like those 60-year-olds, they don't care. But
The 60-year-olds?
yeah,
Uh-huh.
they don't care because they're like, I've put in my due. I'm 60. I could do whatever I want.
There should be some kind of regulation, though.
We slap them.
Well, I don't think age has correlates with the smelliness of some people.
Oh, no. I'm just saying, like, if you're... Oh. Like, just any smelly.
Yeah.
I think it's lack of caring about others.
So they do smell it, but they're like, I don't care. I don't care, so no one else should care.
I think they're a little dumb too. Like, I would say like they can't even register like that it's them, or like they're so used to their own stinky. They're like, what do you mean, sort of thing.
That's so gross. Okay, I want to get off this topic. This is disgusting me right
Yeah.
now. We went there because we were talking about our week because of the rain,
Uh-huh.
and that's enough of that.
Yeah.
Let's get into why we came here.
Venom 2.
Actually, it's not Venom 2. It's Venom. Let There Be Carnage.
2.
A worthy name for such a ridiculous movie. Ivan, let's start dumbing down this movie for all those people out there. The premise of this movie. Eddie Brock is still trying to get used to living with Venom, the alien life form in his body. Their relationship is messy at best. Meanwhile, Cletus Cassidy, a serial killer serving time in prison, has been unwilling to talk to anybody regarding his murders. But he has an unusual ask, and he requests to talk to Brock. Their meeting unleashes the true beast inside of Cassidy, and now Brock and Venom must truly become one to defeat an unstoppable force. Will they do it? Actors in this movie, we have Tom Hardy coming back, reprising his role as Eddie Brock / Venom. We have Michelle Williams coming back as Anne Wayne, the ex-girlfriend of Tom Hardy. We have Naomi Harris as Frances Barrison, a.k.a. Shriek. Reed Scott as Dan Lewis, the boyfriend of Anne, and now fiance. And then we have Stephen Graham as Patrick Mulligan. Stephen Graham. Stephen Graham.
Steven.
Great actor. Stephen? Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy, a.k.a. Carnage. Ivan, let's get into this movie right after this short break. This movie has been planned since 2018. It was the stinger. It was on the end credits of Venom, the first movie, teasing the character Cletus Cassidy coming into this fold of the Venom universe, for lack
Can you get it out?
for a lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And Sony's in the business of making money, so why not tease this movie? But the movie did well, so here we are. The first Venom did well, so here we are with Venom. Let There Be Carnage. The previous director of the first movie, Venom, his name is Ruben Fleischer. He decides to not reprise his directorial role due to, quote unquote, unfavorable reviews for the first movie.
Wow.
Him citing that the reason why people gave it unfavorable reviews is because they favor the Disney Marvel movies. They have a bias against these Sony movies. To which I say, no.
Okay.
Hell no. This is incorrect, right?
Yeah. It's just not that great.
It's not that great, Ruben.
Yeah.
That's fine. People still loved it. You made bank.
Yeah.
Don't try to just admit your shortcomings. Or if you can't admit that, just deal with what people say about it, right?
If anything, like, it was just reviews, and if he was a true artiste, he would have ignored it, right?
Yes.
Like every other artist does.
Yes. Or tries to do.
Yeah.
It is a thing that until you're in it, you probably don't understand, but you always hear artists sort of trying to deal with criticism, right? And I would think to myself, if I was in their shoes, it wouldn't even look at it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's easier said than done.
I think if you really know what you're doing and you're like, I know this is good, but not like arrogant, just confident. And I think the reviews wouldn't be able to hurt you as much. But if you're like, I don't know, like I'm not too confident about what I'm making, and you put it out and reviewers are like, yeah, it sucks. Then you're like, eh.
But it's extremely hard to be the type of person that's like, I am extremely confident in my work.
Then work on it.
Like, I don't think even Kubrick would say something like that.
I think
he's confident in his work, but there's always this feeling of self-loathingness, you know?
Yeah, but like, I think he's confident, but like if I made a movie and I was confident in it and I heard reviews saying like it was shot badly, I'll be like, hold on, let me rewatch this just in case.
Uh-huh.
And then I like take in the criticism, and if like I legitimately don't think it's shot badly, then I'll be like, okay, this guy's a hack, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know? And I think you could do that with like a ton of aspects of anything.
Yeah.
You just have to be kind of honest with yourself and say like, was that actually shot bad? Was the dialogue cringy?
Yep. And I think this is a larger concept, but like once we're talking about like how these movies ended up, it's hard to critique them. Or it's specifically hard to critique the director because it's such a business at this point where the director isn't making the final call on everything.
But like,
so like the end product is not just the fault of one person, it's the fault of many.
I mean, I'd have to see how much input they had in Venom 1, just as an example. Like,
yeah.
Because I would think if it's the first one, all they would really want is like a Venom that looks good, would be sellable as a toy or merchandise, and then eventually a lead up to Venom 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like anything else is really, I would think, is up to the director.
That's really a case by case, and we would have to be really in the know to know that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking specifically of Spider-Man 3 when Avi Arad, or whatever his name is, told Sam Raimi that, no, you can't keep using these bad guys that you like. Put in Venom.
Uh-huh.
And he told him to put in Venom.
Yeah.
If it was up to Raimi, it would have just been Sandman. And then now that we take 10 years later and we're looking at Spider-Man 3, the main gripe we have is that there's too much going on and that Venom is sort of off in that movie.
Yeah.
So poor Raimi, he's taking the brunt of it when the brunt should be distributed, you know?
But what in these two movies would feel like that? I don't think anything.
Yeah. That's true. For the first one, I would say just the need to stick to like a almost kind of like generic template of like bad guy. Like anything like that is sort of mandated by a corporation that's invested heavily in a big budget movie.
But even that, like, I think a talented person can work with that.
Yes.
Because like all the Marvel movies have generic bad guys, but it's the writing that makes them seem like, ooh, they're interesting. I relate to them.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm not trying to say that. I'm not trying to back up Fleischer, but I'm just saying that I'm sort of forgetting what I'm saying.
I'm saying he's a little boy.
Yes, at the end of the day, it is Fleischer. Fleischer should have directed this, and he shouldn't have said, "Oh, I'm mad because of the reviews." No, you
got your feelings hurt. But
you got your feelings hurt, and you didn't do the greatest job of all time.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyways, Fleischer's out.
Yeah.
Andy Serkis is in.
Yeah.
Andy Serkis, known for his portrayal of Gollum in Lord of the Rings,
Mm-hmm.
and the Hobbit trilogies, he starts directing, or he gets his feet wet in directing when he's the second unit director in the Hobbit trilogy.
Okay.
Which I didn't know until I did some research. And then he directs a movie called Breathe, which is a drama, I've never seen it, so I can't really speak on it. But then he directs another movie called Mowgli, which is the telling of the Jungle Book, and he makes it for Netflix. It's mixed reviews. I watched it myself. That was okay. Nothing too crazy. There's nothing that really, it's not, I think the artistic side that he brings to it is just like the wanting to add visual effects that are innovative. But as far as like a director doing new things other than visual effects, I don't think he brings anything new to the table in that sense.
Wrong.
Oh, how about you?
I saw this video comparing that movie and the Disney one. Is that the other one? And there's like, it's like these VFX artists like judging who did it better. And the thesis was that the Disney one looks better because they used like animals, the faces, without like making it look human. So it's just like an animal, like a lion moving their mouth.
Yes.
But Mowgli, they made like the animal faces morph to the human face.
Yes.
So it's like more human animals.
Yeah, which is creepy.
Yeah. So like they said like technically Disney one's better, but the Mowgli one's more interesting to watch.
So on that note, the director of the Jungle Book is
Johnny?
What?
Jon Favreau?
Jon Favreau, who goes on to direct The Lion King.
Mm-hmm.
Huge movie. I've heard people say that watching the Jungle Book is like watching the National Geographic. Like a main gripe with that, the Lion King movie, and also the Jungle Book, that I hear from people is that you're taking away the soul of the original movies.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the original movies can do animation and make these animals do things that you wouldn't see in real life is what makes those movies fun. And making them as real as possible is kind of just killing that spirit.
They should have just done it like motion capture the human face and make them look slightly human and give them like human emotions, even if they wouldn't look exactly like a lion or whatever Pumbaa was.
So you like Circus, his
I think
way
just,
better than...
especially if I think if you're doing the kids movie, like you just got to do it that way, I would say.
Uh-huh.
Like there's a place for both of them. I don't think one's technically better. It's like when we were talking about Virgil Abloh doing Pop Smoke's cover.
Yes.
And we were saying like he should have made it really good instead of doing his like thing where like anyone can make it.
Yep.
Disney should have realized like this is for kids. We should just make them a little more goofy and happy, and not make it photorealistic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's not technically wrong, but just let the kids have funny looking lions.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. All that being said, we have Circus directing this movie, and it's time, Ivan, to talk about Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Venom.
Ivan, where did you see this movie?
In the theater.
You saw it yesterday or today?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. How was the crowd?
Sizable for when I usually go. Usually there's like 2 or 3. There's like 10 people this time.
Whoa. Which theater did you go to?
AMC.
La Jolla?
Same one.
Nice. You like that one, right?
Nope.
Oh, yeah. But you do like it.
Nope.
Why don't you just go Mission Valley then?
That's farther.
Wow. So that's why.
Yeah.
Bad.
Meh.
I do like the La Jolla one. The seats are very nice.
I like when I'm in it, but
That's what I'm saying.
getting there is not.
Sure. But I'm saying the theater,
Sure, but like
it diminishes when you walk.
like you're eating a nice dish, but if there's someone pooping in the corner,
Yeah.
you're gonna think about poop.
Yeah, that's true. I watched it at the Mission Valley AMC. I technically don't like that mall either.
Is that the one where you go underground and it's like that? The
Yeah.
thing? Okay. I like that mall.
Oh, it's a horrible mall.
I think it's just interesting.
There's interesting people there.
Okay.
It's a hub for homeless people. Hub.
Hub.
Halaba.
Schmutz.
Schmutz?
Yeah.
Is that Jewish?
Yes.
What were you expecting from this movie, Evan?
Exactly what I got.
I was expecting. Well, we sort of documented what I was expecting.
Okay.
And my roller coaster of like, this is going to be a bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a good movie. This is going to be a bad, good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I did get what I expected at the very last minute. So going into this, should I say right now? Yeah. Going into this, I'm like trying not to read the reviews. And then I saw something pop up. And of course, I read like the first line. And it said, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, the return of the B movie.
Mm.
And I was like, I hate when something like that happens, but I do love it because it changes my perspective completely on things.
Yeah.
And all you need, and it's crazy that it shows how psychology sort of, or words affect your thinking so easily.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a psychological thing. But like once that was said, that one sentence, I knew whatever I got from Venom was going to be okay with me. And it showed and it proved out.
Yeah, but I mean, it didn't have to be a B movie. It's like, I mean, not. I was gonna say it's like AAA quality, like look wise.
No, it's not.
But
Mm-hmm.
even that, like, I mean, Venom looked good, Carnage looked good. They should have done more, like, tenderly disgustingness everywhere, just generally. But like the beats of the story was very B movie.
Yeah.
Like I would say a general B movie would not have a Venom look as good as he does.
Well, that's where I'm sort of excited to talk about, because like it's sort of this idea of like, now that technology is getting better, it should also be cheaper to do these kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to see if we can get more B movies that look this good. Because, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, like, I think it's something we've discussed, too, where if we can get movies that are cheap to make, that can use visual effects in a good way, it opens up the ability for other people to make movies.
Mm-hmm.
And different kinds of movies, right? I would say this is a different kind of movie than a Disney-backed Marvel movie.
Yeah.
And it's like on the same, not on the same path, but the same idea that a Deadpool was made. Like a Deadpool was made on a different spectrum than the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes.
So I'm glad about that. But let's talk about the movie. Let's get nice. Let's get all symbiotic with it. You know what I mean? Let's really get in there. But let's take a quick break. Venom, Let There Be Carnage is basically Venom, but like on cocaine. Like it took the sort of silliness that the first one was doing, but it made it sort of, it just accepted the silliness and said, all right, let's like put all of our cards in this basket, all the chips, and let's just go for it.
Yeah.
And that's sort of evident when you watch it, but it's even evident when you look at the name.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Let There Be Carnage.
Mm-hmm.
It's gimmicky.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of trashy, you know, like sort of corny.
Mm-hmm.
But they know what they're doing. They know that this movie has to be this.
Yeah.
Actually, it doesn't have to be this. It could be like another boilerplate superhero movie, but they decide to make this.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they did.
Okay.
What, if anything, what is your favorite things about this movie as a whole? Doesn't have to be like too specific, but is it that it's sort of doing this craziness, silly, all in, trying to be as sort of impossibly ridiculous as possible?
I like how you said
That was like 3 adjectives.
Yeah.
Or is it something else?
I just what do you mean by impossibly ridiculous?
Because it's over the top, you
But
know?
like, give me a
Like you have Tom Hardy, just like you can. So Tom Hardy is portraying Eddie Brock, right?
Yeah.
Who's taken control by a symbiote,
Mm-hmm.
an alien life form, transforming him into Venom. And his goal in this movie, Tom Hardy, is to portray Eddie Brock as this guy that's being like wrestling with this inner demon almost, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can tackle that many ways as an actor. You can sort of do that very discreetly
Mm-hmm.
and sort of like intelligently.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can do what Tom Hardy's doing, what he's choosing to do, and being like, get out of my head. You know, like fidgety, like he's sweating all the time.
Mhm.
He's literally going crazy and he's going for it. He's all in on this character as a
Mhm.
crazy man. And you don't see that too often in a movie like this.
But is that how Venom is in the comics?
That's a good question because as you can see here, we've brought a couple of my personal collectible vintage Venom comic books. And if I were to tell the truth, I'm going to say that I don't know.
You monster.
I know. Because those
faker.
in the more recent I know the more recent Venom storylines because I've been reading that. And he's portrayed as sort of this depressed guy that knows that he's sort of like a fucked up soul, but he's trying to be better.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not so much as in he's dealing with the venom that's inside of him. He's sort of compatible with him at this point. He's more so dealing with like the past things that he's done
In the comics.
which if you haven't read the comics, he starts as a bad guy and then becomes a good guy. So that being said, the Eddie Brock that's being portrayed here is kind of like a psychotic character who's more or less hearing voices in his head.
I think it depends on how they portray Venom. Because they make Venom as like he can just make himself slap Eddie whenever he wants, or he can just throw Eddie across a bridge, like
He can control him.
yeah. And he yells at him, and he like tells him to eat people. So, like if that was in me, like I feel like I would act similar to that, because I would always be on edge. Like, is he just gonna toss me off the building because he's mad at me?
But that's a good point that like even so along with Eddie Brock being like a crazy man, Venom is sort of crazy too, you know?
Yeah.
And he's this ravenous monster wanting to eat people's heads because they contain this chemical that can only be found in brains and chocolate for some reason.
Yeah.
But in the comic books, he's portrayed as more of like what he is to
Okay.
Eddie, a symbiote.
Like inner voice sort of thing.
Yeah. Like we can beat him, we can do this.
Yeah.
And he's not so silly as he is in this movie. And that's a
Okay.
choice too. to make Venom sort of the comedic gag of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying that's the choice that they made.
Yeah, yeah.
And that also makes this movie ridiculous and over the top.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it.
Yeah.
But is that what you like about the movie? Or is there something else that you sort of lean into?
I think I think they had to go that way just because like they're eventually going to want it to go with Spider-Man. So they have to make him really silly. And if he's like this brooding bad guy who has his like inner demons and he's like symbiotic with Venom and they're like it would feel too serious, I think. I mean,
but they could do that.
yeah. But they also don't make him a bad guy. Like he's not
Yeah.
a criminal technically.
And they could have done that too.
Yeah. I think they just really wanted like a good person to be Venom. They don't want that. They don't want like someone who's like a criminal
Right.
to be a hero for kids.
Because they could have done maybe more something on the along the lines of Joker.
Mm-hmm.
What Todd Phillips did with Joker and with Joaquin Phoenix, how he portrayed that role.
Mm-hmm.
Something more brooding, something more serious. Because he too was dealing with voices in his head, right? Schizophrenic. But is that a business decision or is that a creative decision? Because now that you're talking about this, it makes me think they want a happy or a good guy version of Venom because the ramifications of a bad guy Venom is not something that Disney Marvel wanting to deal with.
I think we just had to see what like the first decision was, like when Venom was being made, like the director and executive producer, like, that conversation, because it could be like either way. Like Ruben could have saw Venom, so like I'm just gonna make him silly, and then that was it. Nobody said anything, or it could have been the executive producer saying, "Look, this is gonna be with Spider-Man, so he can't be this Joker type of guy. He has to be a good guy who's silly, but like anti-hero." Instantly.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards the second one where
executive.
Yeah, because if Sony isn't dumb and Sony has to work with Disney, Marvel, and they know that working with them is the best thing for their bottom line, so they're gonna bend to their will. And I'm pretty sure Disney does not want this serious version of Venom. You know, they want something that's the Lethal Protector version.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. I mean, like, it could have been way worse. We could have got just a really mid movie, but instead we do get a movie that isn't technically good, like by regular metrics.
Yeah.
But we get a movie that's sort of weird.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I want to discuss. Like, I feel like Raimi is so embedded in like this Spider-Man verse.
Yeah.
That his for lack of a better word, his campiness is sort of rubbing off on all of the other Spider-Man movies. Especially this movie. Like, I see things like when Cletus becomes Carnage and we get that sort of we get the Dutch angle shot of the executioner basically trying to administer the lethal dosage to Cassie. I immediately think of like The Evil Dead and Army of Darkness, the Sam Raimi shots that he does. And then when Carnage becomes Carnage or whatever, and he comes out of that dark room and he screams like, "Rah!" You know, I immediately feel like I'm watching a Raimi movie. And sort of wish I was watching a Raimi movie, because Raimi is a master of these like cut editing and horror type of movies, and being able to blend action and horror.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really neat to see Raimi's influence. Like, you would think that, I guess you would think that like someone more acclaimed would be the influence behind these kind of movies, but no, we got a man that started off making corny horror movies that just latched onto the culture that people loved, and he's still affecting movies to this day.
Well, I'm sure there's like examples that in music where like someone did it first, but he's not even like that popular, but they just took that idea and then like a Drake just went with it with whatever.
Project Pat.
Sure.
Yep.
Sure. Well, what's his face? XXX.
Uh-huh.
Like he could have probably gone bigger, but he was pretty big, but like the impact he did, like everyone was doing sad rap.
Still is, yeah.
And he's just like a blip on the rap timeline now.
You know what song I love? That's like sad rap kind of. I just wanna. What is it? What's his name? Oh no, I just forgot it. Whatever. We'll move on because no one wants to hear me rap. But yeah, there's like, I definitely feel the way this movie is over the top.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the campy movie vibes from it. And for all of you who are unaware, let's take a trip down Campy Movie Lane.
Okay.
So I used this word campy a lot previously, and I didn't really know what I was saying. Like, I just felt like it matched what I was thinking. But now I have the definition.
Okay.
Camp is the exaggeration or overemphasis on a theme.
Okay.
Big popular campy movies are Rocky Horror Picture Show, the Batman movie from 1966 with like Batman, Army of Darkness is campy,
Okay.
and I'm gonna throw in Spider-Man 3 is campy.
Okay.
There are scenes in these movies that are intentionally ridiculous because of the acting or the story being told. Like,
Okay.
the concept or the acting is over the top or exaggerated. I'm thinking specifically in Spider-Man 3 when Peter Parker is dancing down the street of New York and he thinks he's the coolest guy in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Or in Army of Darkness when Ash Williams is threatening the townspeople with his shotgun and he says, "This is my boomstick." Like, the concept is stupid, but the director and the actor are deciding to do it anyway, and they're sort of in on the joke that it's stupid.
Sometimes.
Explain.
I think a dummy dumb McDummerson would sometimes, I can't think of an example, but like they would, because I'm thinking like this is kind of on a spectrum sort of deal. Like campy, like super campy themes are really loud. And then as an example, like The Green Knight, where it's like super slow, nuanced.
Yes.
And that's like, and I'm sure it goes way farther either way, but I think that's a pretty good measurement.
Yeah.
I forgot where I was going.
So I was trying to say like campy, the director and the actor are deciding.
Oh yeah, the dummies. Because like that spectrum, like if they're not a good director, they would just say like he has to tell her how he feels, and he says like some super campy cheesy line like "You're the blood in my heart" sort of thing, and that's like campy technically, but if he doesn't know like there's a better way to do it, that's not like intentionally like that. Then that's when it's like a dummy doing camp. So like it's just intention of what you're trying to do, but like how do you differentiate? Like you'd have to talk to the director and say, "Did you mean to make this that?"
Yes.
So Sam Raimi might be like, yeah, of course, like it's funny.
Right.
But Dummy McDummerson's like, how else am I gonna tell this story?
Right.
And then like, oh, he's an idiot.
Right. So basically what you're saying is like there's campy by choice
Yeah.
and campy by
Ignorance.
yeah, and like kind of stupidity.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree. Sometimes movies that aren't supposed to be campy
Mm-hmm.
end up being campy and become sort of like a cult following, you know? And it is a weird line to toe. But I think there's like directors who always do a campy vibe that you could sort of say, I think they're going for it. Where maybe like there's one-off directors who like make horrible movies and they're like, oh, that movie ended up sort of really corny and ends up being campy. Yeah, there's like parts that I'm trying to talk about that feel campy. One is when Venom is at a rave.
That was funny. I like that.
And he's talking and this rave, so it's like a rave that's sort of promoting like what is it? All gender
Inclusivity.
Yeah,
whatever.
inclusivity. And he's like Venom feels at home. And he sort of comes out of the closet and he makes this speech like, I am who I am and I'm here and I'm happy to be here, you know? And it's hilarious, but that's them deciding to do that.
And it especially works just because Venom's kind of a little dummy himself.
Yes.
So he would be the type like to crash this and say like, Eddie was wrong about you or me.
Yep.
He's just like that.
Yeah.
So it's like intentionally campy.
Yes. Like I said earlier, Tom Hardy's acting is kind of campy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like him deciding to over-exaggerate the mental illness part. Like I'm not too aware of like the mental community. I can't say that I know too many people who have schizophrenia or mental disorders, but I don't think they would be as loony as Tom Hardy's
Canceled.
acting. Already?
Yeah.
We're just making it big. Next.
Yeah.
And then something that's like cool that they sort of blended in is the use of the moniker Lethal Protector, which is the name of the comic book series that Venom first appeared in by himself, the miniseries.
Yep.
This Lethal Protector moniker, and they state it in the movie like that's so corny, you know?
Yeah.
Like we shouldn't be called Lethal Protector. It's do they say 80s? It's so 80s.
Yeah.
So 80s. But I love how they're it's meta. It's they know they're self-aware, you know?
Yeah.
I just love how they do that. And the choice to make this movie just crazy. Over the top. Let's take a quick break and we'll get more into this movie. Does this movie live up to the comics? We don't know, right? We can't really say. Even though I had these comic books here, I didn't grow up with them, essentially. They came out in the early 90s. Venom specifically and Carnage came out in the early 90s, where Spider-Man obviously had this long storied history. But what makes them cool, or what I hear from the like people talking about them from that time, is that it looked cool.
Right.
And I think that's very important when we're trying to discuss these movies. Like Venom, the original Venom story is just a visual eye candy with no meat inside of it.
Right. So
any kind of life lessons that you're expecting to get from this, or like any life-changing movie that will change your artistic taste, don't try to expect that from these kind of movies.
Yep.
And I like that, you know? I like that they're sort of treating this material true to source in the sense that the original material isn't that like good. Just
not much to work with here.
Yeah, it's just visually what was in style at that time.
Yeah.
And that's sort of refreshing just to think about like what like I'm thinking specifically of like Cletus Cassidy and what they could have done with him, because like in the original comics he is a serial killer, but he's very grotesque, and they go more into depth of what he does and like him killing people and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if I were like a guy that would say like stay true to the source, it wouldn't help this movie at all. And that's okay, because we get a character like Cassidy who's in love with this random girl called, what is it, Shriek?
Mm-hmm.
Who's pretty cool. But it's just a comic book movie. Can we just, it's what do we want from these movies other than just some fun time at the theaters?
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Were people laughing at the theaters with you?
A little bit.
What was the funniest scene? I'm trying to think of like the most ridiculous, over the top, where people were like, "This is stupid," but we're in it.
Probably when he went into that costume party.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the people just looking at him like, "Nice costume, dude."
Yeah.
If I saw that in real life, I would be freaked out.
At least
A 9 foot tall guy,
Yeah.
buff, black. Oh, black suit. Sorry. Let's talk about the Stinger,
Okay.
because that's what we're
Spider-Man.
That's what we're all here for, right?
Spider-Man.
Do you want to talk? You want to describe the Stinger, or you want to do it?
You do it.
Brock and Venom are laying down talking about how Venom has seen so many things as an ancient life form. Venom is a symbiote, and his species are sort of like a hive mind. That means what one person experiences, the other organism experiences too.
Mm-hmm.
So collectively, he's seen so many different things, and he's billions of years old, blah, 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 blah. Venom's like, I'm going to show you a percentage of what I've seen in my lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
and try not to blow your brains, you stupid American human brains. And as he's doing this, the room transforms, which I don't get. You can probably explain it in a bit.
Come on.
And on the news, we see a flash of J. Jonah Jameson
Mm-hmm.
revealing the true identity of Spider-Man. We see Tom Holland as Spider-Man on the screen. And Venom licks his lips and like, ooh, I like it. I want to taste it, daddy. I don't know why he does that specifically. But essentially, we get the combination of Venom and
Spider-Man versus Venom.
Ivan, why does the room transform?
Did you see the Spider-Man trailer?
Yes.
Well, when he like does the multiverse mix around, like Dr. Octopus comes out. Like they don't show the exact moment he comes out, but I'm heavily assuming that it's like that moment when everything starts like flickering in the universes. Eddie Brock got like flickered into Spider-Man's universe.
But didn't that happen because Doctor Strange was trying to revert Peter Parker's identity being revealed?
Yeah.
But he still got revealed after the transformation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like he still had...
Like Peter Parker, his identity got revealed. Then Peter goes to Strange, like, can you reverse what happened? And then he's like, okay, let's do it. He creates the multiverse, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're saying Venom gets transported,
Yeah.
but we still see Peter Parker's identity.
Yeah.
So did it not work?
I don't think it worked.
Gotcha. Okay. I guess that's just minutia. But
Well, because in the trailer it showed like Peter like asking like, "Hey, is she gonna forget? Is MJ gonna forget? Like, what about this? What about that?" And then like he's like, "Shut up!" And then everything goes wrong.
okay. Okay. Now, when you're in the theaters and this happened, what was your reaction?
I was screaming
Really?
like a woman.
Ah!
Spider-Man! I had to spoil a little.
But was there any reaction in the...
They're like, ooh, ah. But it's like 10 people like...
So at the theater I was watching it, there's a bunch of kids, and you're like, ooh, like literally. And then me and my fiance Taja, we laughed at that, and then she was mimicking them like, ooh. And she was like, explain why they were doing that. And I was like, well, in the comic books, and because like we made fun of them for sounding nerdy. And then she goes to me like, explain why they were acting like that. And then as I was explaining it, I felt so nerdy. Like, well, in the comic books, it's because Venom is enemies with Spider-Man. And she's like, oh my God. And it just, the nerds are here. We're here, man. And I don't want to call myself a nerd, but I'm a nerd, unfortunately. I have these comic books right here from the 90s. I'm a nerd.
Think about it this way.
Okay. I'll take it anyway, honestly, to make me feel better. Oh, God, he lost it.
No. I'm coalescing it together. Like, deconstructing the nerd concept. Like, the only thing that really makes it nerdy is that it's not like you compare the knowledge you have of comic books, random comic book stuff, to the random basketball knowledge you got. Like, they're both very nerdy if you think about it.
Yes.
But like one that doesn't have that stigma, this does.
Yep.
And I think the only difference is like this is kind of a physical, manly sport, like football, baseball, like all that. Like you could say that about any of that.
Okay.
Whereas comic books, like you're, I'm reading this in the corner alone. Like it's a lot more of a loner type of thing. Whereas sports is more group and all that.
Yeah.
So
I think it's more so like that's fake. It's make believe, and this is real. And it's not just sports. It's like anything that's real.
even sports are kind of fake.
I mean, not really.
Like it's real
It's
as
like-
in like they're actually playing, but like
And they're real human beings.
but still a game.
Like,
Comic books, it's real human beings made that.
yeah, but we're not talking about the human beings of we're not talking about the makers of the comic books. We're talking about
The point
Third-
percentage of their 3-point line. Nerd.
like
Nerd.
that actually happened though.
Yeah.
And
You're saying
and
this art
Carnage
doesn't happen?
explaining like why Carnage is not true to character is nerdier than me talking about Shane Battier's defensive prowess. You know what I mean? Like it's technically nerdier in any kind of estimation because it's make believe.
Wrong.
Okay.
Because like everything's make believe, but everything's also real. You know,
I know.
it's only nerdy because like it used to be super nerdy in the 80s because like nerds were reading comic books, but like we're in an age where yeah, you're reading comic books, but like you're also connected with the billions of other people who connect it or read it. So it's like now it's kind of more of a group thing too. Like there's so many communities and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas back then, you really just talked to that one weird kid in the corner who also read comic books.
Yeah.
Like, it's becoming a singularity sort of thing where there's no really
I like what you did with your face.
singularity.
Yeah.
It's all in your head. Because I really don't think.
You don't feel that vibe.
I don't feel nerdy at all.
I do. It's like that feeling when I was at the screening of Suicide Squad, and I was like, I don't belong here. Like, everyone here is wearing a DC or a Marvel shirt because they're in this. It's like when Nacho Libre says, "I want to win." Like, they really are in this, and that's something. That's even something I like. Okay. Anyone who's really into something is off-putting to me.
Jealousy.
Usually, I should say, not for the most part. There's sometimes when I look at someone that's really into someone and I'm jealous, like, oh, I wish I was that into something.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, the reason I feel that way is because I feel like it's corny when someone is all in
Jealousy
on anything.
Yeah. But there's also like people who are super like knowledgeable about comics. They don't dress like that at all.
Yes, I know. Yeah. Which is what I feel like I am. Like, I'm knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot about it. But I don't try to make
You're
it my
looking
life.
at their physical appearance.
Yeah.
And if anything,
Because when someone tries to become something, like, to me, it's like, you don't have to live
the life.
Like, I get you do jiu-jitsu. You don't have to wear, I strangle people. Like, people wear that. Like, I can
kill you.
I can kill you with my legs. Like, I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
And to me, it's corny when people do that.
How about this? Halloween.
Okay.
Because, like, in a way, Halloween's kind of like trick-or-treating, at least, like that same vibe of like you're really dressing up to get candy sort of deal, or you're dressing up to go to a Halloween party sort of deal.
Yeah.
Like,
That's not similar, though.
a little bit.
It is because you're doing it for one night.
They are too. They don't go around always wearing that Suicide Squad shirt. Like, it's one night we're watching Suicide Squad. I want to feel a little festive. It's like a pep rally, or like
It's like a basketball game when you wear a Laker jersey.
There you go. Look at that nerd wearing the Kobe jersey over there.
Yeah.
It's your life, isn't it?
Yeah, I never thought of it that way. Good one, Ivan.
I did it.
You got one on me.
Convinced the nerd he's not a nerd.
Okay, let's move on. But let's make a note of this. So let's round this out. The people that wear a Batman shirt at the Suicide Squad movie premiere are not more nerdy than a guy who wears a Laker jersey at a Laker game.
They're just as festive.
It's funny thinking of it as festive. Okay. Let's take a quick break. The thing that makes this movie what it is the relationship between Venom and Eddie Brock. It's really the crux of the movie. It's the thing that pushes the plot forward, and it's honestly the most entertaining part of the movie.
They really dug into it.
And I'm happy for it. Do you like that part?
Yeah.
I like how they visualize Venom too. When he sort of pops out of Eddie from like as a life form and is talking to him.
Yeah.
I guess it's
More visual.
It's visual, but it's also that other people around them can't hear or see that.
Yeah.
More so hear Venom talking to Brock. It's more so Brock is the only one talking, making it seem like Brock is legitimately crazy.
Yeah.
And I like that sort of flick, you know? It's something that they could have done it a different way, but I like how they did it.
Their artistic take.
Yes. Very nice. And there's so many scenes with Venom and Brock essentially in this marriage. This marriage that has issues and they're trying to figure it out. And it's sort of like a rom-com.
Yeah. It is.
Something you don't see in a Marvel movie and something that I'm happy to see here.
But
Go ahead.
I feel like that part, those parts were really good, but like I feel like the everything around it kind of suffered because they focused so much on it, or not because they focused on it, because they didn't have the right talent to do the rom-com and make like the good action pace, because it felt like very feverish, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe that was the intention,
Yeah.
but like there's times where it felt like scenes cut together and not like a flow of a movie.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's like it could be many things, but yeah, there's like the beginning part of the movie where we get introduced to Cletus as a kid and was it Screech? Scream?
Yeah.
Screech, whatever. And then we get that cuts right into
The title.
the title, but back into Brock's life. And if you don't know anything about the first movie, you'll be completely lost. Because like Brock is there and he's talking to Mulligan, the detective. Mulligan's like, Cassidy wants to talk to you, and there's no sort of like ease into the movie. It's just like blip. Here's Brock. And there's this Venom character. I mean, it is a sequel. I guess it's sort of like intuitive that you should watch the first one, but
Yeah.
they just throw you in.
Thinking about it, I think they could have like cut out the love interest of Cletus like completely, and it probably would have made it better, honestly. Because like, what did she provide? Like, I know she had that thing with the cop, where like, but that was kind of flimsy, I feel, because he's just like transporting her, and then she's like, "You ready to die?" And then he protected himself, and I guess like it is messed up that like she's in this situation. She's obviously like abused in this place, but like it just feels kind of weird how her purpose in the movie is the driving force for Cletus to get out of prison.
Yeah, but that's it.
They could have they should have just doubled down on him loving killing. Like, I want to get out because I love killing.
Right.
And I don't care who knows.
Yeah. That's something that like I said, like I could have said like, oh, make him like the original comic book character, but
shut up. Yeah.
And this movie is an hour and 30 minutes long. It's not a long movie, and I'm happy about that.
I mean, imagine if they took her out, like an hour movie.
Yeah. And I'm surprised that like, for me, my favorite parts aren't where Carnage is in the movie.
Yeah.
It's where Venom and Brock are just talking to each other.
Yeah.
Which shouldn't be surprising. But like, Carnage is a big, crazy $100 million character, you know? Like, you would expect them to be like, let's really give this guy some purpose.
Yeah.
But he's dead by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Dead. Like, I didn't think they were going to do it.
Yeah.
But I was also thinking, like, how are they going to trap him? Which, like, there's really no way. Because, like, I'm just thinking I want him to come back in some way.
Right.
But there's, like, that thing with the police officer where he had, like, a flash of something.
You know what that means?
Do you know who he is? I'm asking.
Yeah.
Who?
Toxic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is he
Horrible names.
like a Carnage spinoff?
More stronger than Carnage.
Of course he is.
It's just like Dragon Ball Z. There's always someone stronger.
It's kind of random though. Like what differentiates him from Carnage? Toxic.
I don't know. I think in the comics it's like he has like actual venomous toxic things.
Acid. That'd be cool. If it's acid, that's cool. If it's venom, I don't want that. Or like
Yeah.
poison.
I want to see things like melt.
Yeah.
Okay. Last thing about this movie. How does Disney look at this movie?
Poopy.
Like
Necessary evil.
I imagine Feige watching this movie and be like, oh god.
Wait, how am I gonna work with this?
And then like the people that made this movie are like, yeah. And then like they look at Feige like, oh god, he doesn't like it.
I mean, the good thing is that like they don't have to work in all of Venom's universe since he got like transported. I'm guessing it just Eddie and Venom, and from there it's like they can just because that's like literally the most like that part of the movie is perfect. Like Venom 2. Venom and Eddie. Like I would not fix any part of that.
Yeah.
And the fact that only that
Yeah, I can hear.
only that is transferred, it's like
Right.
the very core best part of the movie is going into the MCU. So it's like all the baggage is gone in a way
Yeah, I see that.
until like they send them back or whatever happens.
In our last Venom, when we talked about the Venom movie in the 2 podcasts ago, we were talking about how they could sort of introduce Venom and why are you laughing?
I'm laughing at the burps.
Venom and Spider-Man, and you were saying like Venom would probably be like, oh, I want to be like Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
And I definitely see that happening,
Mhm.
you know? And I also have like this odd request, which I know probably won't happen. And it's that like in this new Spider-Man movie, Venom shows up like too late. Like Spider-Man
credits?
defeats everyone and Venom's like, oh, I almost saw him. And he just
Yeah.
like emulates him, but never
Yeah.
meets him.
Uh-huh.
And that's how...
Spider-Man versus Venom.
No. That's how Feige gets away with like never having to bring Venom in.
Oh, you don't want them to even interact?
Yeah, like Venom's always just like a little late, like, I want Spider-Man. Where is he? It's like,
That's not ever gonna happen.
But you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that can be sort of like the more comedic and keep up with the comedic tone of Venom, like, or he's just like this loser that can never actually meet this hero, and he tries
But
to
they'll never
emulate
do
him.
that.
What?
They'll never do that.
I know, but this is my odd request. And then it's like he just wants to be like Spider-Man so bad, and he's like this lethal protector, but he's just like a doofus that can only do a minutia of what Spider-Man could do. And I know that won't happen, but that's my movie request. Directed by Keep Circus. He deserves it. He did good in this one. Yeah, who knows? Do you think so? We know that Dr. Ock, Green Goblin, they're gonna be in No Way Home.
Yeah.
Do you think Venom's gonna show up as part of the Sinister Six? They just need 4 more people other than Doc Ock and Goblin.
Nah, I think he's gonna be end credits.
Okay.
Because I think I said it, but I think this isn't gonna be a Sinister Six movie. I think it's gonna be like Spider-Man one by one capturing these loose people, these loose villains, and then they're all gonna go to jail. And then Michael Keaton is gonna be like, "You want to kill Spider-Man, don't you?" And then like Sinister Six time sort of happens, and that's like the first end credit or whatever. And then the after end credits, like Venom like approaching Spider-Man's like so you want to form the new Avengers or something. Something like that, because I think it's too quick for Venom to be in it. Like it'd be like it comes out in a month or two, doesn't it?
Right? Yeah. December.
Yeah, Venom would probably still be in theaters, I think. Actually, maybe
Yeah, maybe.
if it makes money, but
I know what you mean.
and then the next Spider-Man would be Sinister Six versus Venom and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 4. That
Or
would
it
be
can, or the
beautiful.
movie can be Sinister Six with like, oh no, you're right. No, they wouldn't do that.
I think they're doing a Sinister Six movie though.
No, they were trying to, but they canceled it.
'Cause
They're
they still
doing
have the Jared Leto.
they're doing Morbius
Yeah,
with Jared Leto, and they're doing Kraven the Hunter
as a movie
as a movie
by Sony.
by Sony.
Uh,
I hope they make all these movies just dumb. Like don't make them like these the Marvel movies. Make them different. You are Sony. You're
Yeah.
not Disney. You're not beholden to PG-13.
well, even Morbius kind of looks different from a Marvel movie. I just hope Kraven's like dark and makes Spider-Man scared.
Yeah.
Like, he should be really like a killer in his movie, where like I don't know, like a Deathstroke sort of like gets the job done. That'd be sick.
Oh yeah. All right, Evan. Let's go into the best scene of the movie.
Okay.
I got here a couple. I like when Cassidy and Brock meet, and when Cassidy bites Eddie Brock, and he's like, "What is that?" Like he tastes his blood. He's like, "Eddie, that's no human blood. I've tasted many a blood in my lifetime, and that's no human blood. What are you?"
Yep.
I like the craziness of that.
Yeah.
I gotta say it. Woody Harrelson, he left me wanting more, but he did the job.
They should have made. I don't know. I think they could have made him scarier.
Oh yeah. I mean, they could have gone rated R and shown him like killing women.
Not
and
even that, but just I didn't feel too creeped out by him.
No. I mean, his face is disgusting and creepy, but
Come on, that's.
I mean, that's the compliment though.
Oh
Like, it's so unique
yeah,
that it's disgusting and creepy.
yeah.
The scene where Cletus becomes Carnage is, I think, I legitimately got scared. And he's like, I was like, oh god damn, that's scary. That's a great scene. I like when Venom is trying to cheer up Rock after finding out that Anne is getting engaged.
Oh yeah,
And he's like, come on, Eddie.
yeah.
I'll make you breakfast. And he's singing and making breakfast, and the whole apartment's in a craziness. I love that scene.
Yeah.
And when Anne realizes that Venom is inside of Miss Chen,
Uh-huh.
is that Miss Chen? Yeah, Miss Chen, and she convinces Venom to come out by like hitting on him,
Mm-hmm.
which is her. It was confusing,
Yeah.
but it was funny.
Mine is when they get in the fight, Venom and Eddie, and then like at the end of the fight, Venom's like, get out of my house,"
Yeah,
and throws his stuff out.
yeah,
It's like so, it's like campy, but it's so funny to see like that trope of the angry wife throwing the husband stuff out.
yeah, and being so strong that you could just throw out like whole TVs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great scene too. Okay, and now let's rate the movie. I'm gonna switch things up because I'm sick and tired of the 7. I've been holding back my true feelings. The 7 scale is just irking my Birkin. Let's give this the traditional 1 out of 5. With the only metrics you can do is so it's 5. It's a 5 ticket system.
Tickets,
Tickets, baby.
Look, you could do 5, but I'm not gonna do tickets.
Why?
I don't want tickets.
I'm doing tickets.
It's campy.
I'm doing tickets because the Source, the infamous hip hop magazine, did 5 mics to review
That's corny.
albums.
I hate that.
So now we're doing 5 tickets, and you can only do full tickets or half tickets.
5 seltzer waters.
No,
That's better.
no, 5 tickets.
I'll do it, but I won't ever say tickets.
Okay, I'll add it. So you can only do half a
Like
ticket.
post production. 5 tickets.
Dub it. Half a ticket or a full ticket. Ivan, rate this movie. And say tickets, please. Could you just
Because
say it?
I had a number out of 7 for.
Then let me go. This movie is a 4 out of 5 tickets.
3 then. 3.
3 out of 5
3.
tickets?
3 out of 5. Period.
Wow. Okay.
AKA a 4.1 out of 7.
I gave it a 4 out of 5 tickets because I had fun watching the movie. My fiance had fun watching a superhero movie, which is super rare. She didn't get bored. She thought it was interesting the whole time. But yeah, I'm rating this movie, and the movie's campy. I love campy movies. I love ridiculous movies that don't make any sense. And I love that they didn't stick with the traditional superhero, blah, 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 Marvel dumb things that they always do. It's different, and I like it. 4 out of 5 tickets. And you have 3 out of 5 tickets for, I guess, the same reason, but it's not as high on your totem pole, right?
I think they could have done better even as a B movie. Because I see your positives, but I think even like the parts where they were leaning into whatever they wanted to lean into, there's other sections where like I just don't think they could have done better.
Yeah. I sort of see that too, because like at the end of the day, this movie does need to make its money back. And I guess they could have gone a little campier.
Like for me, like you said, this is like eye candy, right? Like there was cool scenes in the movie, but a lot of it was dusty. Like there's a tornado scene where you can't see anything. There was like a lot of it's in the dark. Like the final fight scenes in a dark cathedral at night. Like if it's eye candy, if it's known for eye candy, and brighten it up. And I guess that's like cost because CGI costs money, and the darker it is, the less bad CGI you see. But come on.
Yeah. I think a rebuttal would say
Shut up.
shut the hell up. But no. No, I see your point. I don't know. I think it just goes back to like maybe fleshing out the Carnage character a little bit more, and
Because you know,
show less to make it scarier. You know, like another way of overcoming the hurdle of not enough money for CGI is to show less
yeah,
and leave more to the viewer's mind.
yeah.
Maybe that could have done it.
But in Spider-Man 4 or whatever, Venom versus Spider-Man, that's going to be Marvel budget CGI. And they're going to pull out all of the stops, right?
One would think, yeah.
Because do you remember in Spider-Man 2 that one scene where he's fighting against the bad guy and it's like constantly shifting and everything?
Mysterio?
Yeah.
I didn't watch. I know.
Can you watch it?
Yeah.
Spider-Man fan?
Eh.
Like that scene, like honestly was,
Amazing.
yeah. And I don't say that often. It has an Ivan stamp of approval. Because it's like legitimately the one scene where like, if that happened to me, like I was getting scared. If like I was scared for Peter at that moment.
Damn.
Like, you got to watch it. Like a lot of the rest of the movie wasn't my favorite, but that scene I was like,
Did it well.
yeah.
Okay.
You gotta watch it.
So basically, better CGI would have made this movie better with
Yeah.
cooler looking effects.
Yeah.
Okay, so not necessarily the campiness, like more campiness.
If I had to like boil it down, CGI and then take out the love interest of Cletus.
Agree. I would say creepier, make it creepier, and make Cletus more fleshed out, which could mean taking her out.
Like they could have swapped that first scene with her. Just have him like brutally kill some dude, like a kid, and just make him like hated instantly.
Yeah.
Like make him kick a dog, and then like he's the bad guy.
Well, I liked how they used that animation to show like how bad Cletus is. Do you remember that?
Which one?
They showed a little.
Oh yeah.
And I think they did that because they didn't want to show like
right
the real thing.
I mean, PG-13, I think you're allowed to. But I guess they really wanted it to be for kids, too, which is kind of sucky.
And they also say when Venom bites Cletus's head off, he says, "Fuck that guy."
Yeah.
So.
It's, like, it's dumb.
Okay. 3 out of 5.
2 out of 5. Not just 3.
3 out of 5. 4 out of 5. I'm sticking with mine. Would you watch this movie in the next year?
Sure.
Me too. Nah, I think that's a big deal because I'm not gonna watch Shang-Chi in the next year.
I might.
And you gave Shang-Chi a better grade.
Well, what did I give it?
I don't know, but I know it's better than a 3 out of 5.
But I also gave it a 4.1, and I gave Shang-Chi probably like a 4.7. So it's not that better. This is why you don't change things.
We just need something that people understand. A 7 scale.
But that's
It's
funny.
confounding.
It changes. It gives us character.
What gives us character is if we have like a yay or a nay, like a legitimate like pass, no pass, but something other than pass.
But everyone does that. Nobody does a 7.
Let's ask our constituents.
There's nobody.
I'm gonna ask my fiance.
But you gotta you gotta fight for me too. You can't be like,
Okay,
this is what Ivan thinks,
okay,
and this
okay,
is what
okay,
I think.
Okay. But ask someone else,
Right.
and we'll see.
Right.
Okay. We'll be right back, and we'll talk about other things that went on this week. But Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Venom.
We'll be back next week with a new movie, but we'll be right back after a short break. It's time for a section we like to go.
Things and such.
Anything you've been watching?
I rewatched 2001, A Space Odyssey.
Oh, after it gave you the inspiration to watch it, right? Our last podcast.
Yeah.
And
It was on HBO. I was like, come on, this is fate.
It's
good.
oh wow.
Like, it's gonna sound like an exaggeration or whatever, but like the difference between how I watched this and how I watched it back then, like way different. Like
the more you know now
yeah,
is just like.
And I didn't think I like really changed that much in like how I view things, but I think the fact that we had like a set thing time to watch it and a review of it here, and then my rewatch, like I kind of watched it similarly. Like I could feel that difference of like how I watched it before.
Yeah.
And now it's good. It's like, it's funny because it's like since it's in the 60s, it reminded me a lot of Mad Men vibes. Like, because they wore like suits everywhere, and they're like, they have that small talk sort of thing, like, oh, how's the kids doing? And like, how's like Jenny doing? And it's just funny to see how he predicted the future.
Uh-huh.
But it's still like a lot of 60s sensibilities.
Yeah.
Like you can't it shows you can't predict culture at all.
Right.
Because he was like obviously way off. Like today, I don't know. We would have emojis floating above our head or something.
Yeah.
Just way different, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't get that from like my first watch at all. Like that cultural difference.
Yep.
And then like I just generally paid a lot more attention to the dialogue, and like I appreciated like the slowness of it. Because I mean I kind of thought of it before, but like when you're in space, like there's gonna be a lot of waiting because you're transferring to like a air pressure tank. You're traveling through space, and it's not like
action packed.
Yeah, Star Trek and Star Wars kind of spoil us with how instant movement is in space. But like Kubrick, he made it more realistic where there would be a lot of doing nothing before you do anything.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is different.
It goes to show how important reevaluating art is.
Mm-hmm.
From music to movies to anything, like everything sort of deserves a couple of watches, listens. It's harder with movies because it's more time consuming, but if you have the time, it's very rewarding, especially good movies.
Mm-hmm.
And even bad movies, like you said, like you've said this many times, you can take away something from anything, but multiply that by a thousand when you watch something as good as 2001.
Yeah, because like every part of 2001's like you could like I remember when we started Kubrick, we were talking about like how he had that photography background.
Yeah,
and he really knew how to frame things.
Yeah,
and like just the difference between like seeing this movie and like Venom. It's like Venom had a lot of like
yeah.
Whereas Kubrick, like every shot, you could tell like he wanted it framed perfectly.
Yeah.
And that made everything iconic in that movie.
Yeah.
Like every single frame, but there's there's maybe like 3 iconic frames in Venom, There Be Carnage. Even
right. If
there is an iconic frame.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
And it just like going back to Kanye, like he had that producer background, and because he was so good at producing, like it, and when he started rapping, he knew like how to meld producing and rapping. Kubrick, photography background, he knew how to meld like framing, cinematography with filmmaking.
Yep.
And it's just that secondary skill that like incredibly boosted anything they made.
Yep.
And it's just not pigeonholing yourself to I'm a director, I rap, whatever.
Yeah, a man of many talents.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited because I'm finishing Mad Men. Think this week for sure. So I have my schedule open for rewatches of other things that aren't Mad Men.
There's an intermission in Space Odyssey. I forgot, but it's like it was at a point I was like, I should pause it. I need to go eat or something. Intermission. I was like, this is great.
Yeah. Mad Men. The takeaway from Mad Men is I love the 60s. That's it for that. I don't want to talk about Mad Men anymore. I watched Midnight Mass, which is a Netflix show made by Mike Flanagan. He made a Dr. Sleep. Remember? Finished that. It was okay. I like what it was trying to do, but it was still too corny. There's something about show. It's just like they over-explain things.
Yeah.
And
because they got to cater to the Netflix.
Yeah. So
that's why HBO Max.
Yep. Yeah. And Squid Games.
I heard about it.
Obviously, you heard about it. Everyone's heard about it.
Yeah.
And the more people talk about it, the less I want to watch it.
Yeah. Like, I'm kind of, like, absorbing what it's about from, like, TikTok or, like, what people are saying. And I feel like I've watched the whole show already. Like, literally.
Yeah.
So I don't really feel like watching it.
Yeah.
And, like, what I've heard is, like, either people love it because it's, like, over the top. or they're like people like, I mean, it's over the top to catch your attention, but like it's a basic story, nothing special. And that's like my least favorite thing to watch, where it's like obviously it's like they flash a pizza slice in front of you, but like I don't know, it's like vegan cheese or something.
Yeah.
Like it's still good, but you want to slice a real.
It doesn't fill you up.
Yeah. But I don't think I'll watch it. Like I watched Tiger King, but that was like, I felt like that was legitimately good.
But yeah, that's like similar, right? In the sense of the hype it was getting from.
Yeah. But like I think that was good. Maybe I should watch Squid Game so I can be like, I watched it and I know it's bad.
Yeah, that's the ultimate route. Yeah. Like, because then everyone talking about it, you could be like, you idiots.
I never watched it.
You could be like, you idiots.
Yeah.
Do you know why you like that? You like it because it's basically this. But if it's good, then you're going to be like, damn, that actually was good. The tragedy of being a critic.
I have to watch everything ironically. Like I can't watch anything I actually want, so I can.
I know. I know.
Prove people wrong.
Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg,
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, Eminem, and Kendrick are performing at the Super Bowl. That's pretty big, honestly.
It is, but it's so weird.
It is weird.
It's because like West Side, right? Sort of thing.
I'm not sure. Is it?
Is it?
Well, Mary J. Blige is from like New York or
they
Chicago.
I don't know why she's there, honestly. To get the girl audience?
Yeah.
Get out of here. Nobody. I'm sexist.
You are. But they don't have like anyone. He's worked with all of them, so it sort of makes sense in that way.
I know.
I just like how.
They should have got Shakira again.
I think this is Jay-Z's doing.
Oh, he's like creative director now, huh?
He's like part of the NFL, so he's like, guys, you need hip hop. Put these guys in.
But it's like the most, with respect, besides Kendrick, the most washed group of rappers.
It is, but I was thinking about this too, like when it comes to quote unquote washed or older rappers. These people were very important for a lot of people in different times of their lives.
Yeah.
And I get it that it's not your taste, but to really, their impact was incredible.
Yes.
And it's as incredible as I don't want to say Kanye, so maybe like a J. Cole is to now, or a Little Baby is to now. So it's very impactful.
But it's late. That's the thing. That's like the thing I don't want. Like, if like my modern version would be like Travis, Kanye, Kendrick, Drake, which is obviously never going to happen.
Yeah.
But it could happen in 20 years. But by that time, it's like they're so old, it's kind of embarrassing.
But you still get Rolling Stones playing at these things, and like they still do events like this. So like, why not our version of the Rolling Stones?
But when's the last time Rolling Stone did the Super Bowl?
I think they did it in the past 20 years. And that's still saying that they did it in their 60s and 70s.
But even that's Rolling Stones. That's the
What do you
Rolling
mean?
Stones.
Dr. Dre is comparable to the Rolling Stones.
Is he?
I think like, yeah, I think he is.
But I would say even the Rolling Stones are a little washed.
They definitely are. And when they played, I'm sure they were washed as well. But it just, to me, I guess my takeaway is like, we shouldn't think of it as washed, but we should think of it as like, this is a very important regardless of how out of touch they might be now, because they are still culturally important to American culture as a whole.
Washed.
Yeah, they are. Especially Snoop Dogg.
Especially Snoop Dogg.
But like, he's still important he's still like a personality, which is pretty dope.
It just,
he's able to switch his lane, you know?
Yeah. But it just feels phony if it's not modern people. Like Kendrick,
I know what you mean.
Like, it's crazy they got Kendrick there, but I don't know. It's very mixed. Like, pandering sort of stuff.
Yeah. I know what you mean, and I don't know how to solve it. And I can't really explain it in words.
They just need
And it's not just being modern.
it's because the NFL is just itself dated.
Yes. Okay. That might be what it is. If they were performing somewhere else, I think it's a different thing. Like if they were performing at the
Basketball.
Grammys.
Like NBA Finals, if they were there, I think I would have been like, the classics are back. You know?
I see that a little bit.
But still, that would have been like, they're a little washed.
Yeah.
But a lot less than NFL.
Yeah. I think it's because, like, when you think of NFL, you think of, like, the white version. Like, for some reason, you think of white people. At least I do.
Yeah.
And I think of, like, in that sense, it's sort of pandering. Like, okay, let's give them a shot now, 20 years later.
Yeah, exactly. Because the NBA, it feels...
It's the closest thing to culture in any sport.
Yeah. But NFL, it's definitely a lot more business feeling, like
Yeah.
corporate NFL white people. Like, ooh. I mean, the only reason it's not horrible is because Kendrick. Like, if Kendrick wasn't there, it would have been like, they're pandering so hard and they're so out of touch.
And Eminem is going to be there. I didn't mention that. But it's pretty cool that Eminem, it's like the first time all of these people have been on a stage together.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, too.
I hope they do something interesting because they, like, I don't know about Mary J. Blige, but they have songs that, like, all link with each other.
Yeah.
Like a Snoop with Dre, Dre with Kendrick, Kendrick with Eminem, then go back to Dre. You know? I hope they do something like that, and it's not like, here's Kendrick. Or no, who you're Snoop.
Yeah.
Okay, bye, Snoop. Here's Kendrick. You know?
Yeah. Like, you're saying, like, they should do, Kendrick should rap Snoop's verse.
Like a medley of some sort.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to be dated like this, you got to put on a performance.
Yes.
And they're very old, so I don't think they're going to perform.
You know who's sort of probably really salty right now, but it's his own fault?
Ja Rule.
The Game. Because
Yeah.
he's in the lineage of, like, I am an heir to...
Yeah.
I'm an apprentice or protege of Dr. Dre. And he sort of messed it up.
Yeah. Like, nobody cares about him now. Have you seen that one, how there's like a video like aired him out about his interviews, and he had like the same freestyle for like 20 interviews?
No.
It's like, it starts like red rose, white ceiling.
Uh-huh.
No?
No.
Oh, well, it's like a video that like did that, and then I don't know if he got mad at it or he definitely saw it and then stopped doing it. So it's like, geez.
Yeah.
But just funny.
The Game he was really good for a point. And he's actually like, he has solid skills.
Yeah. I think it's like an ego thing where he couldn't let go of some stuff.
Yeah.
He wanted to be better.
Yeah.
But, oh well. Snooze you lose.
Quickly, speaking of rappers with solid skills, Meek Mill dropped his album, Expensive Pain. Sorry, Meek Mill. It's an album that's sort of nothing revolutionary, but it has some good turn-up songs.
It's a solid Meek Mill album.
Yeah. I do think that what he's missing is, like, musical touch. He doesn't have too much musicality to his songs.
He sounds the same, like yelling at me.
Yeah.
Like
But he's tried the R&B and, like, smooth talking way in this album too, and it just doesn't sound good enough.
Yeah, they're very like the sing-songy ones are a little generic-y.
Yeah.
It's like I felt like this has existed.
Yeah.
Easily somewhere else.
Better.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anything else, Ivan? Music related? Take that as a no?
No.
No, don't take it as a no?
Correct.
Then what should I take it as?
No.
Okay. All right, people. This was another episode of Peliculas with the Bros. We'll be back next week with another episode. We're gonna be talking about No Time to Die.
Really?
James Bond. His movie is finally coming out.
That's gonna be so bad.
Do you think so?
I hope so.
It's not. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be a mid.
Sold.
We'll be back next week. Thank you for watching. If you're watching, thank you for listening. If you're listening, we're on all podcast platforms. So if you're watching and you want to listen to it in podcast platforms, we're on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all those good things. Anywhere, look us up. We're also on YouTube. If you're listening to us, we're on YouTube as Peliculas with the Bros. Take a listen or watch there. Thank you for listening. 2 hours in. Wow, what a doozy. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Ivan, any last words for the beautiful people?
Nah.
All right. Peace out, people.
Bye.
That was weird. Bye.